Hello YouTube fans, here again. Apart from cutting myself saving, why not talk about this one? Tacit from John Hooper. I've done a lot of John Hoopers before. Like the one I remember doing was Life Force, and I've always been that adamant and that debate was Poltergeist or Steven Spielberg was a John Hooper film. I like to do both and think that both of them did a comparison. But this is the one what launched his career, apart from cutting myself saving. But yeah, this is the one what started his career, that being the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Say it again, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is one of my favourite slasher horror films. A lot of people think of the first slasher, you think of Halloween, or they think of maybe Black Christmas. But in my eyes, this had to be the one what epitomised the die with a mask, that being Leatherface. And I like this one, it plays on your fear, it plays on your emotions, it plays on a lot of things. And, it was this and this until I saw this film, and it was this. And I do remember my mum renting it out, when video was in its heyday, and when it first come out, it was on rentable video. And as we know, the film came out in 1974 and was considered a bit scary film, a very controversial film, and a very popular film for John Hooper. Then he launched his name as well. And at the time when they was doing this, it was in the era when the video Nasty come out. Now, even though Texas Chainsaw Massacre was not a video nasty, at the time you had a guy, I can't remember his name now, but he was a board of censorship. When censorship started to come out. This was, if people know, I think it was Mitt filming or something. If anyone knows who I'm on about, let me know, because this guy was a board of censorship and he was very strict. He was a fussy duffer, and he was the man what banned The Exorcist. Yep, even though that weren't a nasty, he banned it because he said it was too scary. And he banned this for the same fucking reason, saying it was too frightening, too scary, too this. And when you think about it, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the name can be fooling, because it was there since I saw it, because I say it originally got banned, right? And you read about things and people say, oh, it's gruesome, it's bloodthirsty, you got blood, you got guts, you got arms and legs getting cut off. Do you bugger? It's a load of buckle top. Because when Mitt Filman, I think that's the name of the censor, retired from being a censor in the late 90s, that was a date error, because the films that you weren't allowed to see, like The Exorcist, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, thank goodness he retired, because those films managed to come out uncut and on video for the first time. So yeah, it has a lot of history. When John Hooper did it, he had people in a place with rotting corpses, rotten bones, rotten everything. And the funny thing is, some of the bones and some of the bits that were made in beer ornament were taken and were used for other horror films. They used it for The Howling and they used it for The Hills of Eyes, the original one. Right, so they used it a lot. They used it a lot for films, or other films at that time, and because it was so cheap, they used it. And it was sort of inspired by a true story, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the bit where they got the body parts and they're making ornaments out of body parts. If you ever know your history, that was taken by a true story, by a real serial killer what did that. So no, in real life, there wasn't a real madman running around with a chainsaw in his hand. The only bits that was a true story was the bits of the body parts, what a serial killer used, collected, and they caught him in, I think it was in the 50s, and it inspired him to make the film. So yeah, I mean, when you look at it now, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I've seen the uncut one, got the uncut one, it's not really gruesome, it's not bloodthirsty, it's none of that. That was macaroni. What you do get is a very fella, bearing my mum, it's not like that, somebody just making a racket. Right, so what you do get, right, you get a good scary horror film. That's what you get. You get a good scary horror film. I shit you not, you get a damn good scary horror film. That being the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I love it because it's scary, it plays on your fear, and it does. When I saw it, I mean, you got to understand, when I first saw this, I saw films that say, like, Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw a lot of other slasher films. I saw a lot of blood and gore. I saw a lot of horror films over the years. So, I saw bits and bobs and biographies of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but not all of it. And you read the rumours, oh, it's a madman with a chainsaw cutting people up and all this. And I thought, this film's bloodless. There's no blood, there's no gore, there's no snot, there's none of it. What the fuck were they on about? Because when I first saw it, I thought it was boring. All it was these hippie looking people in a fan. They pick it exciter up and it's a slow burn. But then when I got to see the dye on the Leatherface and it's a slow burn that rubbed off and it paid on your fare. And then I thought, I actually like this now. This is a really, really good horror film. And it is, it's a very carefully made slasher film. That's what it is, it's a carefully made slasher film. Carefully made by John Hooper, who paid on your fare. And it's just funny, he's had to make the film PG originally. You got to die whacking people on the head and cutting people up with a chainsaw. But it's not really what you think. It's a carefully made film. It's not a blood splat film. But it starts off and they tried to make it out to be a two-story, which of course inspired the second Hills of Ice to do in the opening. Now you've got words coming up. We know it was sort of based on a true incident, but true story my backside. Because you've got the words coming up about the teenagers, if you could buy them being teenagers, and what happened to them. Then you've got a really, really disturbing scene with a dead body, a rotting corpse on a coffin stone. And you're thinking, fucking hell, this is messed up. That's where the film carries on another level. You've got the fan, that the bit I thought was boring. The picking it her up, he's a bit psycho, he cuts his hand, decide, fuck it, we've had enough, get the fuck out of there. They kick him out. And then it starts with a slow burn, being a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they're walking around in a desert. And there's a lot of that in the film. There's a lot of it where they're walking about and talking, and in this old abandoned house. You think this film's really boring, but then as soon as it gets to the bit where the lad goes in the house, you see Leatherface for the first time, whacks the poor bastard on the head. He has a fit and he whacks him a few times. Got that beautiful do, nice legs, nice to look at, but it's not about that. She walks in the house, you're thinking, don't do it, don't do it. She falls in the house. Leatherface thinks she's going to get out. Leatherface gets her, drags her back in the fucking house. You don't see it, but you can picture it in your head. He whams her on a meat hook, and it's more pain on your mind. You'll see more in your head than what's in the film. He's cutting the poor guy to pieces with the chainsaw, but you don't see it. And you don't need to see it. You can picture it in your head, and that's how John Hooper paid on your fare. He did not get where he got. He is a damn unestimated director. I might even do a few of these films, actually. Why not? Because I like John Hooper. I think it's a damn shame that we lost a very good director. It's like Wes Craven. I like John Hooper. He did my favourite, Life Force. Still love Life Force. I love the bits he did on Poltergeist. I love Funhouse. I love Death Trap. I love them films. I think they were very cleverly made films. You know what I mean? They were cleverly made. So yeah, you don't see it, but you can picture it. He's got the chainsaw. Even when it's remastered, it has that jaded, dirty, seedy feel about it. But it's paid that way. It's paid on your fare. And that's what I love about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've got a cheapy atmosphere. You've got cheapy music. You've got it all. You've got another guy walks in. Think about it, it should be called the fucking Hammer Massacre because even he gets twatted on the head. You know what I mean? And it's a jump scare what works. Dude jumps out of a fidge. Jump scare what works. Don't see that anymore. You got one lad in here, and I find him a bit fucking irritating. He's a lad in a wheelchair. Okay, he's got a disability, but he's whining, he's whinging. He just gets on your fucking nerves. So you can't wait for him to get killed. No, it's only a mover. But you got the dive again. Out comes Leatherface. You don't see as much blood again. You can put it in your head. Saws him in half. Chases the dirt about. You think the dirt's going to get away. She bumps into this guy who's in it halfway through the film, by the way. And you find out it's a family of psychopaths. He abducts the poor Durr. And it's dang psychopaths. And they sort of torts her off, but not by hurting her and all that. They torts her off by fear. By fucking fear. You can see her eyes, you see bloodshot eyes and everything. Really disturbing scene. You got this old guy, really cheapy. I think in real life wasn't old. They made him look old. I think he was Chinese or something, and they put makeup on him and made him look, and he's trying to whack her on the head, missing a few times. Sometimes he gets a lucky hit, but not too bad. But he taps, you see a little bit of blood, but again, not that much. A little bit on the bucket, but out of luck, he gets a lucky move. She manages to get out of dodge. She's that fighting. She's a kid. He jumps out of the window. That's where you see a bit of blood all over her because she's cut herself. She jumps out the window. You got that. Oh, by the way, the guy cut his hand. He's a part of the family, you know. So he's chasing her. He's got a slip fault slaver trying to cut her up. By accident, he goes under a truck, turns to fucking muss. Dude gets on the truck, gets away. Gets away. The only one that gets out of it is her. He got fucking Leatherface moving around with a fucking chainsaw, going to ladder. End of movie. And I love it. I love it. It's a damn good film. It's very, very frightening. And that being Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because it's a classic, why not? An 8-star rating. 4 out of 4. 8-star rating. Love it that much. It's a classic. Unlike most horror films, I think that also did something to me. I mean, it nerved me out and it was very definitely made. It did something to me, but not a lot of horrors have ever done. It's a very definitely made film. Has that seedy, that dirty feel, and I think Tony did a good one. That being the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Until then, I'll see you soon.